Hey everyone, welcome to my Shop My Stash update. I'm gonna be reflecting on my Shop My Stash from last month, from the month of September. And I'm gonna be picking out the things that I will be using in October. So let's get right into it. So if you haven't been on my channel before, my name is Marley and I love making YouTube videos about makeup and beauty. I love trying out new things, but I also love focusing on my collection and just challenging myself to use my own collection more. This is one of the ways that I try to do that. So if that sounds good to you, then don't forget to subscribe. I usually upload about 2 to 3 videos a week. And I would love to see you again on my channel. So let's get into these products. I'm gonna try and keep it a little bit short and snappy today. If I don't have any new ideas about the product, I'm not gonna be fully reviewing it. So only if I came to some new realizations, then I'm gonna reflect on that a little bit more. So let's talk about the lip products. First up, this Ultra High Shine lipstick. I wore this once. I really like this. Maybe I wore it twice, but at least I have a photo of it once. And I just really loved wearing that one. Then this Nabla Dreamy Creamy lipstick in Hedonist. Wore this a couple of times. It's just a really easy shade to wear. It's just a great lip product. Then these two lipsticks that I also put in. With both of these, when I wore them, I just felt like they were just a bit too old. They felt a little bit irritating on my lips. They didn't feel good. My lips felt a little bit weird after. I just felt when I wore this that maybe I should just take them off. These are older lipsticks in my collection. This Sephora Cream Lip Stain in 39 and this Ultra Satin Lip by Colourpop in Frick and Frack. I did wear them. I do have some photos of me wearing them, but I just have to let go. I really like them, but they are just too old, so I'm decluttering these two. Then I put this Glow Glow Go Instant Highlighter by Essence. I wore this, but I feel like it's a little bit too pigmented and then not shiny enough. With a cream highlighter, I'd rather have something that's a little bit more see-through and a little bit more high shine. I felt like it really disturbed a bit what I put underneath it. I'm decluttering this one as well. I don't feel like this has a place in my collection anymore. And this is just gonna leave. I don't think it's worth it for me to keep this anymore. I also have a liquid highlighter by Kiko and that one I like a lot better. Then this Kiko blush from the Lost and Amalfi collection in Silky Sand. I wore this maybe twice and I really like it. This Alpha Flower blusher in the shade Waterlily. I wore this a couple of times and also wearing it today. It's just as pretty as I remember. It's just as nice as I remember. It's just a fave of mine. Then this Nabla Skin Glazing in Independence. When I put this in, I wasn't entirely sure how I felt about it because in the past I felt like it was a bit too warm, but I feel like my blush tastes have changed a bit and I like this more now. Right now I don't mind that much that this is a bit warmer, and I really liked combining this one with this bronzer from the same line. I thought they worked together very well. Also with the skin glazing highlighter that I have in my Project Pen. I feel like that cheek is just very nice, natural and glowy. So I liked combining these two. Okay, next I put in the Colourpop Here Kitty Kitty highlighter. I used this a few times. I really like it, really pretty. I use it a lot. Then the Coral Sunset Fruit Explosion highlighter. I used it a few times, also wearing it today. It's so pretty. I love it. I highly recommend it. It's one of my faves. Then another one of my faves that sadly isn't available anymore, but I just used this a bunch. I used this a few times. It's the Virtuous Golden Rose highlighter from the Oceanfield collection from Kiko. This is a great one. I just kept reaching for it. Then the Kiko Fruit Explosion Juicy Blush. I used this a few times actually. What I really like doing nowadays is creating kind of like a cream base under my powders. So I use this kind of as a base for my Project Pen blush, the Max Factor blush in Seductive Pink. I kind of used this as a base and put the other one on top, and I really liked how that looked. So that's kind of how I used this one. And I think I'm gonna be using that one more even because of that, because I just really love that combination. The creamy base, I think makes the powders on top look so good. Then the last thing for the cheek products, I put in this Bronze Away Costa Rica palette. I use the bronzer and I use the highlighters. I didn't use it all at once. I just went into the highlighter sometimes, I went into the bronzer sometimes. I really think the quality of this palette is really good, especially those highlighters are really blinding, really pretty. Then next up, the eyeshadow palettes. First up, the Cutie palette Analog. I combined this with the Saga of Freya palette in a look, and I used this part, this side of the Saga of Freya, combined it together with the Cutie palette, and I did a little bit of a warm toned look. I also did a look just using the Saga of Freya palette and using the kind of warm rosy side. That was also a very pretty look. That was, I think, one of my favorites. I think that side, I think this side of the Saga of Freya palette is really, really pretty. But I didn't use this one on its own. I just combined them and then I did another look with the Saga of Freya palette. Then I also put in my little palette of singles. I put this together in a video where I kind of tried to copy fall releases. I did a look where I used this shade called Capsized. I used this shade from Lethal in the crease as well. I don't know, let me see what this one is called. That one is called Corrosion. I used this shade called Selfish on the lid, and then I also put a bit of this shade called Mimic on the lid as well, and did a bit of a smoky purple look. Then I also did a look with the It's My Pleasure palette. I did one look with this one. I kind of went to do the brighter shades, the brighter purpley berry shades in the crease. I put this one on top, and then I put Earthshine a bit as a texture topper on the lid as well. I quite like the look that I did with this, but part of me is always a little bit disappointed with this palette, and I think actually that it might be because of the shimmers, because people are always raving about these shimmers, but I think they're a little bit on the soft side, a little bit lackluster. I don't think they're that interesting or special. I think maybe they were just hyped up a little bit too much, but I think there are more special, more interesting and more textured shimmers by Colourpop. So to me this palette is just okay. I think it's just an okay palette. Then lastly, for the eyeshadow palette, the Fame palette by Colourpop. I did one look with this. This used to be like my favorite cool toned palette, but the look that I did with it, I wasn't completely in love with. I just felt like old Marley. I just felt like that was really my old makeup style and what I used to wear, and it's not really what I'm into anymore right now. I just did kind of like a basic look that I used to do all the time. I just didn't feel like it really suited me anymore and that it was really my makeup style anymore. So with this palette in this shop, My Stash, I kind of feel like my feelings are changing about this one. I feel like there are other palettes by Colourpop, other cool tone palettes, neutral palettes that I like more. I like the Golden Coconuts more, and I also like the Dead Taupe more, and I think maybe they are kind of replacing this palette a bit in my collection, and maybe this just isn't one of my faves anymore. I just didn't really feel good or pretty or inspired by the look that I did. So that's gonna be everything for the reflection portion of this video. Now let's get into picking the new products for next month. Okay, so this portion of the video has been some time coming. What you just saw, the reflection portion, I filmed a few weeks ago, and I actually waited to pick out the new products because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with this series, because I was feeling very overwhelmed. I was feeling like I picked too many things. Then I actually filmed this portion a few days ago, but something went wrong with my memory card and I couldn't retrieve the video. So I actually already picked all of this out and I already explained all of this, but what I'm planning to do from now on is to actually not pick as many products, and I actually wanna only pick products that I haven't used in a while, that I'm not entirely sure about how I feel, things that I don't go to things that I don't reach for automatically. And that's kind of what I started this series with anyway, but I kind of moved away from that and made it more into a capsule collection. But I think I can keep it more interesting, a little bit less overwhelming if I pick less products and really focus on using things that I haven't used in a while. So that's what I'm going to be doing from now on. I might switch up some other things as well. Maybe I will do this more often now that I pick less products. I just want to make this series a little bit more interesting and fun. So I actually already went into my collection and picked these products, and I'm just going to show them to you, and I'm just going to tell you why I picked these. So first up, I picked this Fleur de Soir Caviar Gouge Lipstick by Crease. This is a very nice matte dark red lipstick that I want to use a little bit more. It's been a while since I've used this. Then I also picked this lipstick by Juvia's Place. This is kind of like a taupey shade, a little bit of a cool tone, light brown, and I bought this in the summer, but this isn't really a summer type of shade for me. This is not really what I wear that time of year when it's really hot outside, but I think I will really like it for the fall and for winter, so that's why I'm putting this one in. Then for the highlighters, first up I'm putting in this H&M highlighter. This one is in the shade Radiant Rose, and I use this as a blush topper. I haven't used it in a bit. It's a bit hard to show you in this lighting, but it's a bit of a lighter pink shade, but it is a bit too deep to really work as a highlight for me, so I use this as a blush topper, and I want to use this again. And I also picked this NYX Duochrome highlighter. This is looking kind of gray in the pan, but it's a pretty nice warm toned lilac shade when you put it on your face. I want to use this again as well. This is not one that I reach for a lot, but it's really pretty. For the blush, I put in this Gradient blush by Catrice. This is from one of their limited editions. They had this limited edition a few years ago, and I haven't used berry blush in a while, so I want to try this one again. Then I also put in this Boom Baby Bloom blush lighter, and this is kind of a cool toned lilac-y blush topper, and it's a bit hard for me to wear because it's so cool toned, but I want to use this as a bit of a blush topper and see how I like it if I kind of mix it in with something else. Then for the bronzers, first up I picked this Kiko Milano Fruit Explosion bronzer. This one is in the shade Wild Sienna, and I didn't give this the best review. I said that it was nice. I liked it. It was good, but it wasn't my favorite. So I want to use this one again and really see how I feel. Use it a little bit more. Then I put in this Nars Sunkissed Bronzing Cream. This is the cream bronzer. I quite like this, but I haven't reached for it a lot. I have reached for the Colourpop cream bronzer a lot more than I reached for this one. So that's why I'm putting this one in. Then for the eyeshadow palettes, I put in the Frozen 2 Anna palette. This one has some very nice fall tones. Let me see if I can kind of show you. This is what the inside of the palette looks like, and I think it's very fall appropriate. So that's why I'm putting this one in. I haven't used it in a bit, but I think it has some really pretty colors. And then lastly, for the Shop My Stash, I put in the Colourpop Flutter By palette. So 2 Colourpop palettes. This is a cool tone neutral palette that I haven't reached for in a bit, so I thought it would be interesting to use this one a little bit more and put this one in. So things are going to be changing a little bit with my Shop My Stash. Let me know what you think about these changes. Do you have any advice for me? Are there any other ways I could make this Shop My Stash a little bit more fun for myself and a little bit less stressful? I was just so stressed out the last few rotations because I really felt like I had to use the products and I didn't really feel like I wanted to. There was just so much to use, and then I also had to try out products, so it was a lot. So let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video if you liked it, and don't forget to subscribe, and then I will see you in my next one. Bye bye.